Did you know that humans have been playing board games for thousands of years? In a February 2020 article written on SmithsonianMag.com titled The Best Board Games of the Ancient World, Mayland Solly describes how several ancient civilizations played board games. This includes one dating over 5,000 years in the Bronze Age. Hi, my name is Nick, and I'm going to be talking about modern board games today. In this presentation, I will discuss how newer board games are different from those in the past, the different types of games available to play, and the health benefits of this activity. In the past couple of years, my personal interest in the topic has grown tremendously. My friend group began playing different games when the usual video games and other activities had become mundane. I was skeptical of the idea, thinking that there was limited potential in board games. All I really knew was Monopoly and Clue and Sorry. It turns out, in the last 20 years, board games have had something of a revival. In recent times, interest for board games has increased, with crowdfunding making up a large portion of the financing. In a December 2020 article written on Polygon.com titled, Games Broke Funding Records on Kickstarter in 2020, Despite the Pandemic, Charlie Hall states, successful campaigns for tabletop games and accessories earned more than $233 million in 2020, up from $176.3 million in 2019, an increase of more than 32% in 1 year. This increased funding is due to a higher demand for newer and more creative games. Much of this demand was further driven when the pandemic began. People were spending more time at their homes. Additionally, an idea known as cognitive surplus has arisen in the modern era. This is defined as the combination of leisure time and the tools to be creative. Basically, we have lots of free time, and paired with the internet, we can share our collective creativity with each other. This has resulted in huge amounts of board games being published in the last 20 years. The creativity is really impossible to express. So there are many different categories of board games, and there is not a widely recognized set of possible categories. So I'm going to just discuss a few of the more prominent ones. So area control type games are those where board space is competed for between players in order to achieve some sort of goal. Well-known game in this category is Risk. Word games challenge the player to use their English skills to claim victory. A popular example of this is Scrabble. A word game that I enjoy is called Boulder Dash. So I have that right here. So this is just the game board. It's pretty basic. As players win rounds, they move their piece, advance it, and if you get to the end, you win. So by winning rounds, what you do is you have the card here, and it basically you pick a word, an obscure word, and they're tasked with guessing or fabricating the definition of the word in secret. So the made-up definitions are all revealed to everyone, and then along with the true definition, which is on the card, then all players are asked to vote on the definition that they believe is the actual one. The definition with the highest number of votes wins the round, and that player's token advances. Finally, combat-type games are those that deal with the destruction of enemy armies or game pieces. A popular example is Warhammer 40k, which dates back to 1987. Behind me is a game that is currently in progress. You basically have your models here, and you use them to fight each other and get points, and you use dice. Other types of games include mystery, card-based games, cooperative games, and dungeon crawlers. Now that I've thoroughly discussed the different types of games, I'd like to move on to some health benefits. I currently spend a few hours most weekends playing some games with my friends. It is my personal belief that this mentally stimulating activity sharpens my math and logic skills, among other things. But don't just take my word for it. In an August 2013 study titled Playing Board Games, Cognitive Decline and Dementia, a French population-based cohort study, a group of scientists reviewed data spanning over 20 years for a relationship between regular board game playing and dementia. Among 3,675 non-demented participants at baseline, 32.2% reported regular board game playing. 840 participants developed dementia during the 20 years of follow-up. The risk of dementia was 15% lower in board game players than in non-board game players. Reading through this study, I noticed that it was not controlled, but based on observed data. So this means that the deductions cannot be really as conclusive as a controlled study. This does show evidence, however, that playing board games can offer protection against the development of dementia. Other benefits of playing board games comes from just social aspect. Coming together in small groups has known mental health benefits for humans in general. In conclusion, we have explored the differences between modern board games and those in the past, the different types of games that currently exist, and the benefits that can be obtained from playing board games. I hope that you will leave this presentation with a new knowledge of the fascinating world of modern board games and the diverse settings and game styles that are available to choose from. Thank you.